And it's recorded.
Woohoo!
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing all right. I can't complain. It's been a minute.
It's been a little minute. Yeah, pretty much when Corona hit, it's been hard to see a lot of the boys, the buddies. And I know we've been both grinding, doing our own thing.
It's been a minute and it's been wild, dude. I can't explain what this fucking year has done to both of us, but let's get it started, man.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking I heard the album. It's good. It's fucking great.
Thank you.
When I was talking to Gabe, he was telling me that you guys had another album in the shelf and you guys kind of worked it to be this one and you guys added more stuff to that.
So way more. It was a new album.
It's a new album completely.
But yeah, all but like 2 songs. I think only 2 carried over. But they fit the agenda of Psychocymatic. So we didn't feel like there was a need to rewrite those songs because the story just kind of worked. It was just finding its place in the timeline because I'm sure you've heard the album. You notice like the events of each song matter greatly. Like you have to listen to the album from top to bottom. You can't, you can pick a song here and there. But when you're going along for the ride, there's not only musically, as in modes and note choices, lyrically, it all is the journey of, what happened to us last year. So where was I going on this tangent? What was I about to say? Something good. But so two of the songs were from the last album. They made its way to this one, and we found their spots within that journey. But everything else pretty much came, one day to the other, which was pretty crazy. Gabe asked when Corona hit, like we're like not even 2 weeks after our tour got canceled. We were supposed to go, you were supposed to go with us. Not even 2 weeks into that, Gabe was like, guys, kind of did it in a Trump-like voice. He's like, what if we write a new album on during the pandemic? I mean, we're obviously not touring, doing anything, but what if we made a new album? I don't know. In my head, he sounds like Trump because, that's what was going on. He did a lot of Trump impressions. I told him, you are crazy. You are crazy. What do you mean? We like write an album about the pandemic and do it like while we're already ready to pretty much go with this other album? And he was like, I don't know. The guys kind of kept talking about it more, and then it just happened. And I was like, okay, well, we're really doing this. So we had to get to work. Pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. That's insane. But you guys got that like fresh stream of like new blood energy. You came into the band, Justin came into the band, and it was just like, oh, it's go time, baby.
What's funny is like, I don't know what has been up with me, and my life has been like, I've been not tossed everywhere, but like a lot has been thrown at me. And one thing about going to NAMM, and this, is when you go to NAMM, your career, becomes clear, your path. And for me, I feel like, 5 paths open up, and you don't go down one path at once. I'm kind of like trickling all these other paths. So like, I will feel like this whole year I've just kind of been trying to juggle, see what's going to take up my time and what isn't. So though I was very excited and new blood feeling with Immortal Guardian, I also was trying not to chew more than I could handle, which is why I told Gabe he was crazy when he wanted to do this album, because it was, there's just a lot going on. But of course I was down. I wasn't going to say no. And it was also a chance for me to probably put myself more on this album, which if you didn't know, I wrote 2 songs
Mhm.
off the album, kind of 2 songs. I wrote a song that the intro was too long, so it ended up becoming 2 songs. So it's like an intro piece, and then Goodbye to Farewells is the song that I wrote for Immortal. So it's been really weird trying to juggle like the studio plus like, you know, things that I want to do. Lavacio, Sonic Boom pretty much took a big halt after just releasing an EP the winter before. And then I quit like all the other extra bands that I was playing. I was playing, you know, bass for Fiends, I was playing guitar for Rice, and I pretty much added myself to take Immortal Guardian more seriously. Um, so it's been a crazy adventure all year, you know, trying to juggle IG and everything else that's going on. With such high caliber musicians and people who are just like on top of their job, it's a little bit overwhelming to keep up with.
I can completely understand because I feel the exact same way even with I mean just talking to you guys and doing the minimum shit that I do. But
It makes you think like, man, I should be doing something. Like I need to be
yeah,
doing something. Like,
yeah,
oh,
dude.
if it, like I'm been in some ruts lately, so I've been like, you know, get out of this. Like, just
Yeah.
go,
Just
just
go,
do the
just move
next
it, just
thing.
move it, just move it. And that's the one thing that I've been talking to more and more people about is just like, dude, we're like running on the lowest amount of fumes, but we still fucking go at it every day. And that's just that grind mentality that's just been pushed on us since day one. And yeah, obviously, you know, we know when to take breaks. We're not completely fucking destroying ourselves. And
Yeah,
that's the important part. Mental health is completely your one thing you should always take care of. But for
yeah,
those that don't know, you also fucking recorded and engineered this whole all their their past 2 records, past 3, right? Technically 3.
2. So the
Okay, 2.
first one, I mixed and mastered.
Oh,
We
that's right.
did
Yeah,
have
we,
to,
we yeah we didn't record that. That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
edited, mixed and mastered. We did have to do some trackings. Of course, you helped with the editing with that album. This album, um, though, like the so we're all in different areas. The drummer's in Canada, I'm in
Yeah.
Texas, they're in Vegas. So Gabe flew down and did guitars with me. I did the bass with Gabe, like sitting with Gabe, but vocals they had to take on, except for the 2 tracks that came from the last album because I went to Vegas and retracked that album.
Mhm.
Those 2 vocal tracks I tracked, but everything else is actually Gabe and Carlos on their own. And then Justin has an engineer that he works with in Canada in Montreal, and he tracked drums over there. And we did a hybrid thing. So like he's using real cymbals, but he's got an E kit for the
Mhm.
rest of the way. So we like, you know, sampled his shells. Um so Jesse is the one who did his drums out there, and then everybody sent me their stuff, the vocals and the drums, and mixed and mastered. Did whatever production with Gabe when he was here, as far as keys. For the most part, he like programs a lot of that stuff, but deciding what samples should be used where
Mhm.
is definitely just as long process as tracking everything is.
Definitely.
Um, so that took some time, but yeah, other than that, I mean, I did the majority of like the heavy lifting, but I really like that we can come together and trust, you know, our members to get certain jobs done the right way. This was the first time that Carlos like really took a role, you know, more initiative in the band as far as tracking himself and being self-sufficient. And Justin, since he came in since day one, he's always been a self-sufficient guy. So he's really lucky to have somebody like him that's cohesive and knows what to do. And if he doesn't, he knows who to get to make it happen.
Mhm. Definitely. And that's the one thing that's completely impressed me about you guys. Ever since I met you, it's just like you joined the perfect band. It's that perfect fit for you, where it's like everybody's already kind of like on their A game, everybody's kind of already ready to go, and it was just like, yeah, gun it, go.
Yeah.
You fucking just like gun it, go into that NAMM stage that one day, dude. It was fucking awesome. You learned the fucking song what on the fucking spot that night, that fucking
Yeah.
afternoon.
So
That
let's
was
talk
so
about
fucking
that story.
insane, dude. That was fucking insane.
So, you stay with us. So those of you guys who are watching, I've been going, Gabe opened up my world to NAMM. He told me this. He said, whatever it is you want to do, it'll become clear what you need to do when you go to NAMM, as it was for him. And I took that advice, and he brought me out to NAMM, paid for my everything, my stay, my flight. Said we vibed so hard when we first met, to work on or when we first spent a long time together working on the first album of Immortal, that he was just like, you have to come to NAMM. I have to like bring you out here. You're gonna be able to like just network so awesomely over there. So I went. It was an amazing year for me. I partnered with Legator, got endorsed by them shortly after. Told everybody down in my area the same thing, including you. You took my advice. You came out. You've been coming with us to NAMM for 2 years already. So you've been seeing like a lot of the magic. It's pure magic.
It's pure magic.
You know what I'm talking about.
It's pure magic.
It's pure magic when you go out there. You go with the right mindset people, which is a big deal, because I realize if I had gone with like different people, it would be different. And when I went there, Gabe and his group of people are very positive people. They're about seizing the day. Every day is just like a badass day of killing it. And that's every day's mentality for us at NAMM. And then like, you and Gracie came the second year, my wife now. And she saw the vibes that went on, and very fortunate that we found a group of people that encourage that kind of mentality. And I think that's very important. But with that mentality, we were hanging out all weekend. Here's my story of joining IG. We were hanging out all weekend. Sunday comes along, and we're all hanging out, and they say, "Hey, you got to do an impromptu set, little quick, couple of songs here at the in-ear booth, the Ultimate In-Ears booth." They were telling Justin, get your band, come down here, and we went down there. Originally, it was actually supposed to be just Gabe and Justin, which is great, which is funny because, I was just going to, we all follow each other to each other's, little demos at different booths. If I'm playing a demo here, everybody's there. If Gabe's playing a demo, we're watching him. And it was Gabe's day. He was doing a bunch of demos. So he had just finished a demo before that. So we walked down there, and the person before the group are still going, and they're a little behind schedule, so I kind of had, said to Gabe, it would be crazy if, you needed a bassist, because he wanted to do the full band thing. And when they told us like it's going to be like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I was like, that's all I need. I know these songs. I spent so much time, producing them. I've really gotten intimate with these songs. I know them like the back of my hand. As far as layout and structure goes, I know the rhythms and the the cadences, but I didn't know like the actual placements. Though it doesn't take me long. That's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to Gabe's like, go find a bass. I knew that, with Legator, that they would be super up for me grabbing a bass from the booth and going to play in this thing. So I was like, okay. So I run to the booth. You know how big NAMM is. It's still like almost, 5 to 8, 10-minute long walk over to booth. And I put my headphones on. I listen to the tracks, just going over them, getting a refresh. And then I get up to the booth, and Ryan's like, yeah, now go, take it. Go, get out of here. When is it? In 30 minutes? Okay, I'll be there in a bit. So very fortunate to have a team behind me, Team Legator. And I ran back. I'm still listening to everything. Gabe's like, I get there behind the booth. I think you're with us at this point, right?
I think I just got there right then. No, I got there a little bit right before you guys started playing, before they handed me the camera.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's around that time.
Yeah.
Like
I saw you like you and Gabe like kind of like going over it, and like you were like already getting to it, and I was like, oh, this motherfucker's learning the song. Oh, this motherfucker's getting on stage.
Oh, you didn't notice at first?
Oh shit. No, yeah, like I know this. Like I was like, I saw you guys like learning the song, and I'm like, oh shit, like this motherfucker's actually gonna get on stage. Like this is badass.
Which is crazy because how does it come from like watching a local band? You know, like I watched Immortal Guardian when they were they had already moved out of our area. They were in San Antonio and they came down for a VFW show, a local show.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away. And you know, of course, like a quick split second, like I want to be part of something like that. I want to be a part of that or something like that. And obviously these guys were just like way out of my level. And then fast forward, how do you get everything? Even me, you know, working with the band, I had thoughts.
Yeah.
But how does it come to a point where I get Immortal Guardian in the position that they kind of need me to come and play bass, you know? And Gabe knew I could do it. You know, that took a lot. It took a lot of time, you know, like one-on-one time with me and Gabe, so he can get a feel for me as a musician and feel confident enough for him to go, yeah, I'm sure you can play Immortal Guardian song and learn it in 30 minutes. So he taught it to me. You know, I come back to the booth and he's just there like running through the chord progressions as quickly as he can. Okay, here's this one. Boom, these are the 3 parts. Badass. The next one. Okay, this is how it goes. Okay, that's all I need to know. I'm there with my headphones, with my ear to the bass, because NAMM is so loud, you know, you can't hear anything. So I have one headphone like that, and I'm like this, and I'm just, you know, going through the parts, and then I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready. And then like, you know, not even 3-4 minutes goes by, and they're already gearing us up. And you know, NAMM, different people, you already know this, but for those of you who don't, at NAMM, it's at the Anaheim Convention Center across from Disney World,
Disney World,
right?
Disney something.
Disney something. Straight up to me, that's what it feels like. I'm so like
we're like
enamored by the.
It's funny that people were like, oh, let's go to, you know, like all the bigger rock stars are like, oh, they're at Disney World posting on the last day, and we're just like, no, this is our Disney World right now, still, bro. Like this is like,
man, straight up. That's how it feels like. Disney World is like you're in the entrance of NAMM, and you see one of the entrances to Disney World, like, you know, how many yards away. So it's right. It's their backyard to each other. So everybody's booth, it ranges from somebody can have like Tosin from Abassi. He had a booth the first year that was like this big, bro. No joke. It was so small. And some people have big elaborate spaces with full on stages, and that's what In Stage had. They had like a mini, or Ultimate Ears had. They had a little stage there that was still a nicer venue size than some of the venues that we play down here.
Definitely.
Like it was bigger than Hop Shop. Let's just put it that way for anybody local. And Gabe, it was definitely bigger than Hop Shop. And you can go check the video out. Actually, it's on the Immortals page. But they are showing off their in-ears. So we all get handed a pair of in-ears. Then everybody's got a rig to set up. Justin is on an E-kit. I'm hooked up to a Line 6 HX Stomp, which is all my tone. The guitar, Gabe has his setup. So I think he's got like another like Line 6 setup that they gave him or something, then his keyboard, and then the wireless microphone. We're all with these in-ears, and then the engineer is mixing our in-ears, and he's mixing, I think it might have been 2 guys. We had like one guy mixing the in-ears, and we had one guy who was mixing the sound for everybody out there. So it was crazy because, you know, that's a pro setup.
Yeah.
And that's a setup that you're usually more comfortable, especially with the songs
Yeah.
and the people around you. But it was interesting. We played the 2 songs. It was like, what is going on right now? I'm playing with Carlos Zima, the legend. And it was magic. It was magic. And then later on that day, so I don't know how much we're like talking about it, but we did have another bassist kind of like lined up, and unfortunately it didn't work out. And the magic that happened that day kind of led to that, because I think ultimately we realized that the relationship between me and the band was just a lot more stronger.
Yeah.
And I was almost an unofficial member, if
Always.
that makes sense, as in like Gabe trusted any advice I gave. You know, if I had a suggestion, it was definitely taken into consideration, if not if not used. So it always felt like I was a part of the band, you know, without being in the band. We had long times together, you know, weeks at a time, like 2 weeks, we'll just nonstop grind all day. So I guess it just made more sense. And that day they had it lined up to film clocks. And one thing happened, like I remember we were eating, and then something happened, like everybody was taking off to go to that, and it was like, hey, you got to play bass for this. And it was like weird because it didn't say like you're in the band. Gabe had actually offered me the bass position back in the winter, and I'm a guitar player and a bassist, but I really, I wanted that second guitar position, being the guitar player that I was, and he knew I wanted that. So he was like asking me to do the video, to be the guy in the video, but he knew what he was doing, because he was basically saying, you're an Immortal Guardian and you're going to do this. You know, but it was just weird.
Scratch my back right now. You already got the job.
Yeah.
Basically.
But it was weird because like I wanted the job, but I was like, straight up, I was very scared.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was very scared because
it's terrifying being around those people for the first time. When people are so on their game, it just makes you like kind of question yourself, and you're just like,
I think it was more the tour.
Oh,
the tour was gonna happen.
That too.
And I knew like that was the whole point. I mean, like,
yeah,
it was not joining Immortal Guardian to be the basis of Immortal Guardian. It was joining the Immortal Guardian to come and do some big boy work.
Yeah.
And I had been trying, like with every band since the start of like me being in bands. So the
day one,
the plan is, you go on tour, and I wanted to do that.
Records. Yeah.
That's what you want to do. I that's what I wanted. But here it is staring me right in the face, and I can't like commit. I don't know. You build this life, and then like, there's other worries. I hadn't been apart from Gracie for that long. My first outing to NAMM was the first time we were ever apart for that long at a time. I'd finally started doing some more like going out of town and doing stuff. So I think that's helped to get to that point. But I was just very, a lot of worries. And I think that's why I was hesitant. It was very much why I was hesitant to like, I wanted to do this. But Gracie was there right next to me the entirety of everything that's going on. She's walking with me to the booth to go get the bass. She is always there for me through thick and thin. So she kind of saw the magic firsthand of what happened. And I think she was also impressed that like, who does that? Who goes and plays a song, learning it 30 minutes before with a prog metal band? Not just like, here's a 1-4-5, or here's the chord progressions. We're doing a prog band. and then shoot the music video later on that night. Like, it was just, I had in some right, I had earned that spot through a lot of years of spending my time with these guys and becoming one with them. So it was just really crazy because here I am recording the video for Clocks, which just got released last week, and still thinking like what's going to happen, like what's going to go down. And this is another great story that happened that night. So much magic, I gave Legator the bass back. Of course, it was actually the only model they had at the time, and that needed to go to like Guitar Center because Guitar Center was thinking about picking up some of their lines or something like that. It was going to go to a distributor so they can make the decision, yeah, we want to have more of these basses. So that was the bass that I played on, and I gave it back, of course, and they packed it up. NAMM is over. It's already the end of Sunday. Everybody's already half packed up. And I text Ryan and I'm like, dude, they're making me shoot this video, and the only bass that they have is like this brand. And I know already you and this brand don't get along. And he was already at home, like, or not, he was pulling up to his house an hour away from the convention. And he's already tired, NAMM is already done. He's already exhausted. And he makes that decision, that really hard decision of like, yeah, I'm going to drive an hour back to the convention, go through all that crap, pick up the bass, go drive, 15, 20 minutes out to wherever I'm at and bring me that bass for that video. He did that, which is more than, you can't ask for a better artist relations. You can't. Somebody who's a team player like that and sacrifices like that, you don't find it. So I'm really fortunate to have what I have with him. So he brings me that bass, and he told me, he was like, so you're gonna go do this, right? Like, I got your bass. It's not this one, but I got your bass for tour and everything. You're gonna be covered. He was already thinking like, I'm gonna put Fishman's in it. We're gonna put this in it. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make it look like this. Like, yeah, I got your bass covered. How do you say no to any of this stuff that's happening? You go shoot this video with this amazing prog metal band that you've been having these, impacts of your career. It's always been beneficial. You have your artist relations for your brand that you work with saying, here, like, I got you covered. Don't worry about that gear. You're going to go do this. You don't say no. And that's why I was willing. I sacrificed certain things to make that happen.
Definitely understandable. Exactly. You can't say no to any of those opportunities at all.
No, you can't.
Any of that stuff happens, that's in a once in a lifetime magic shit, and you run with it. And that's the one thing that has inspired me and always kept me super fucking impressed by you, where it's just like these opportunities just come and you just like, let's gun it, go, dude. And that's the one thing that's like, I love people like that. I really fucking do.
You know what? Sometimes I don't feel like that, but I think that's just because like, when you get opportunity, you have to choose your battles as well. I actually was writing for a band in California, and we were planning to do some stuff, and we met up at NAMM. And I also kind of realized that maybe this group of people, Immortal Guardian, was just like my people. So when I got the opportunity to go play with them, I kind of like abandoned that and everything I was writing for them and my other bands, Fiends and Rice, and do this. And it sucks that Corona hit because it's put a halt on Sonic Boom. Rom doesn't want to go out and see anybody because he is a little bit older. He's a lot more wiser and a lot more stricter with everything. So it's been really hard to even do anything like that. Lavashio, we've gotten together. We did 2 weeks after the Tracking of Mortal Guardians album, and we got to lay out our album. But even still, it's been, if everybody's not like badass about working remotely, it's really hard to work remote, which I'm sure you've dealt with.
You're talking to the holder of the crowd here, bro. Let's not get into that. But what's it called? Yeah, but that's exactly what it should be like, and I'm super happy about that. And I'm still like focused on one thing that you said, about going to NAMM with the right positive mindset, and definitely with the right people, because I've seen it happen to others that I've met there, and they don't go with the same amount of people or the same type of people, and it just doesn't go as well for them. Or if someone's just in there, like, because it happened to me too, where I was just in my fucking head the whole time I was there. I really was. I'm not gonna get into it right now why I was in my head. The fucking, like, literally the fucking moment I land in California, but I was very not ready for the text message I got when I landed in California, and I just was just stuck that second time.
Okay, so you had the first time.
The first time was magic. The first time when we went to NAMM was fucking absolute magic.
That one was great though, because the Airbnb was on point.
The Airbnb was on point.
That one was a great one.
I didn't get to tell Gabe this story when we talked, but let me tell this one. And it's probably like my coolest moment, because I didn't really know Gabe that well when we did the record, because like I think I started editing when they were already like going back.
Yeah, he was gone.
Vegas. He was like going back to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I really met Gabe was at NAMM that first time. And it was the fucking coolest moment ever, because remember, I had the room by myself with the 2 beds at the time at the B&B. And
it was late at night.
And it was late at night, and they had just gotten off stage from that Marty Friedman show and drove to the Airbnb. And it's so funny because like it was like 2 a.m. I'm like dead asleep, and I just hear somebody coming in the room, and it's fucking Gabe going into the next bed. He's like, I'm gonna try to get some sleep before NAMM tomorrow. And I was just like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like, this is my life right now. Like, this dude just got off stage with Marty Friedman. He's like coming into this room with his bed over here. And I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm actually here. Like, this is life right now.
Dude.
Oh fuck.
That's funny.
That's so cool.
That was great.
Yeah. And
I remember that because I got out of bed. Every time I see Gabe, it's just like buddy, like we're gonna talk again. So he wasn't supposed to be with us that weekend. He had figured out some other plans, and then it was just like, yeah, come stay here. I mean, because everybody else is, his close friends. It was just bound to happen. So when he came through, it was just like, yeah, this is the way it should be. Pretty cool. That was amazing. The Airbnb and Galdo. I've stayed with him my first 2 NAMMs, and he's always great vibes.
The GOAT. He's fucking hilarious. Dude, everything about that first time we were there was fucking great. The Airbnb was on point. That roof shot.
Yeah, dude, I totally forgot about that roof shot until we saw it again.
It was cool, man.
I'm gonna have to put a picture of that in the corner.
I definitely am. I'm definitely gonna put everything, dude. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, the first year that I met Aldo and we went to NAMM, we're walking into NAMM. We don't even have our badges yet, and he's like, what's cool about these badges is it says your name on them. And the thing is in the industry, if somebody comes up to you and goes, Brian Valdivia, you're not going to be stupid and act like you don't know who they are. You're just going to assume they know who you are. or whatever, right?
Right.
So it's real funny. So Aldo's like, yeah, nobody's not gonna do anything. So you could just go up to people and quickly read their thing and act like you know them. And he was doing that all weekend. He'd be as soon as we walked in, the first person he sees, he's like, oh, I forgot the name, dude. Like he's like, oh, Andrew, hey, yeah, what's up, Andrew? Yeah, I'll see you out there. Yeah, cool. And he was doing it to random people all weekend. And here's a funny one: is we're out in the balcony having a quick break, and this guy's on the phone, and he walks past Aldo, and he goes, "Hey, Anton, yeah, I see you." And the guy is like, "Hey, yeah, I'll talk to you right now." Guy goes and finishes his conversation, and then he comes back and he starts talking to him. How you doing, man? Like if they're old buddies. And Aldo goes along with it, and he's like, yeah, well, Aldo's lives in Austin. And he's like, yeah, well, I have the studio out in Austin, and blah blah blah. And they actually know each other's networks, and this guy actually knows who Aldo is. And it was Anton. His name was Anton. I'll never forget it, because I was like in it with I was talking with him and Aldo, and we all friended each other on Facebook, and it was just super funny because he struck somebody like randomly, and it ended up being somebody who lives in this town and knows who he is.
That's the magic of NAMM. That really is
That's
the
the
magic
magic of Nat, dude.
That's
That stuff happens, man.
That's the magic of NAMM. And that's the thing I think with like getting a room full of creatives where everyone is just like ready to like just kind of like expand, and like they're like little flowers kind of blooming, and like they're like kind of ripe for the picking. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I feel about like every time, because dude, I was on the elevator coming down from the fucking Gibson room, which is upstairs. I was coming down, and fucking Trevor or Trey from Gear Gods right next to me on the escalator, and I'm like, "Hey, you're that Gear Gods guy, right?" He's like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And like we just start talking like if we knew each other for forever, and it's so funny because like it's so awkward, like you're like going down the escalator together, and
it's funny because we bumped into Trey my first year out there, and I was like, "It's the dude from Gear Gods," and then like Trey had already been old buddies with IG, because he was like, I guess IG played there once, and he was just starting Gear Gods, and he was taking footage of and covering IG, and they were friends throughout the time. And now he's like good friends. Like his producer is Helion Prime's producer now, which is Carlos Zima's girlfriend's band.
Yeah.
So like last week, they were out at Gear Gods, the studio at Trey's place, tracking another more stuff for Helion Prime. So it's funny because I'm sure like my paths are gonna have to cross with Trey again, given their relationship with him.
Oh, of course.
But it's just like, yeah, you never know. You never know about NAMM. That's the beauty about NAMM is,
that's the place in the world. It really is.
I was sorry.
I'm like, it's the greatest fucking place in the world. It really is. It's a fucking candy store.
Super.
It's just you never like. There's so many people, and it's just like there's so many things to do. There's so many people, and there's that magic that you can't recreate, because I think everybody's there for the same reason. Either you're there for grinding, or you're there like the
networking,
just like other people. They're there for they're like they just kind of like the what do you call them, the non-musicians, like actual like people that just kind of like are just watching, standbyers, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the people in the last couple of days, but the first couple of days it's just like every musician's running. I've seen it,
dude. This last year Thursday felt like it was like Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
So like last year it was like everybody was hungry, which makes me think about what's gonna happen next year. But
it's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah, next year is going to be ridiculous. Everybody is ready for that conversation. When you have a conversation with somebody and you're just like, everybody's ready for their spiel. And I learned this my first year, and it's taken me a while, especially this next year. I'll be better at it. But you have to have a spiel.
have to have a
You have to know how to talk to people without being like cocky, but still being confident, because they need to know what you do. They want to know what you do, so they're not. If there's like the best context, anytime to say what you do, it's then. It's not like in the Valley where like you got to a bar and it's like, yeah, I'm Joshua Lopez. I'm a producer and I've been playing guitar since I was this and blah blah blah. Those aren't the time when those aren't warranted. You come off as a prick.
Yeah.
But there, the first year, because of all this RGV mentality, I go out there and I kind of like withhold that information, not realizing that it hurts you, because you have seconds, minutes, if not seconds, to make your first impression.
Mhm.
Is this the guy that I want to be talking to right now, or is he not? So everybody's ready for that. They're open arms. Like some people you go up to and it's like, yeah, so what is it you do? You'll get it straight out. No waiting. And you have to be ready. Like, yeah, I'm a producer. I play with these bands. I'm a producer, a full-time producer, content creator, musician, writer, and I stay busy producing bands. I play, and now I'm on the road with Mortal Guardian. I play for these bands, and I create content for these brands. And then I always try to like pick out, depending on who you're talking to, they want to hear certain types of information, and you have to be able to deliver that to them if you want to kill it, if you really want to kill it. So what's crazy is I have some friends, and if you're watching this and you're in my local scene and we've had these discussions or not, you need to go to NAMM. And
You
if
need to
you're
go.
waiting, you need to go to NAMM. And a lot of people, I've heard this more than a handful of times. It's like everybody tells me this actually is, I'm waiting for the right time to go. I'm waiting till I have all this stuff together. I'm waiting till I have. Stop right there.
There is no right time to go.
There is one there, there is no right time. Two, what are you going to get together? You're going to get together your albums, your discographies, your badass music videos, your nice stuff. Maybe you chart. Let's say you chart. Okay, like your Logan, Scarlett O'Hara, he's a good friend of mine. He charted with them. Let's say you get all that together. You're still not ready for NAMM, bro. And what else are you going to do to prepare? What else can you do beyond that? Beyond your band, you need to go out to NAMM for your things. What else do you need to, like, once you have everything together and you're still not ready, that just goes to show you that you need to get out there. And then it's not going to take one NAMM. It's not going to take two NAMMs. For me, I'm 3 NAMMs in, and I'm still getting better every year. It needs to be an ongoing thing. If you're serious about music and what you do in your craft, and the truth is you need a network with everybody who's in your craft. Teachers don't go, or what I'm looking for. You don't go and not look for the people who work in your field. So you can't be a musician in the Valley and not work with other producers in the Valley. You can't. You can't be the one guy who prevails all the others. That's not how it works. You can't go to LA and be the one guy, or you need to go where everybody's doing that. So you can learn what everybody's doing, see what's happening, see how it really is. Not, here's my idea of what the industry, how it works. No, go and see it firsthand with all the big time guys. I mean, you go to NAMM, you're having the biggest of the big. So your album that you have ready, you have ready, it still means nothing because you have all the greats over there. So just get out there and just start meeting people, start grinding, take notes, be conscious of what's going on around you, feel the energies, and see where it is where you fit in and what it is you need to do to get there. It's almost simple when you put it like that. It's like, okay, I just need to go out there, and it isn't, but it is at the same time. If I hadn't gone to NAMM, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have the opportunities I have now if I didn't have NAMM. I wouldn't have met the people that I have met. I wouldn't be working with the brands that I'm working with now. I wouldn't have decided to go to this path if it wasn't for NAMM. So people just need to go to NAMM.
People need to go to NAMM just for that networking fact. Like that's the most important aspect of that place. Even if like for me per se, like I'm not the greatest musician and player forever. Like I know that. I'll admit that. Whatever. And that's just because I don't practice as much as you guys. And so when I go into like NAMM, I was like super like in my own head, my own phase. Like I'm like, I don't want to play in front of these people, blah, 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 this and that.
But you got to.
Exactly. And so like I feel like those opportunities were like, especially that second year, were kind of squandered because I met so many fucking cool people the second year. I met all the people who were coming up to me, the like I fucking forgot the name of that brand. Um I met Ola, which was the coolest fucking thing ever. Like
He always intimidates me. I see him every
yeah,
year, but
dude,
he's such a tall freaking giant.
the
And I
monster.
look up to him so
And
much,
he's the
given we do
nicest
the same
fucking guy
stuff.
ever, dude. Which is so fucking. And I met Devin Townsend my second year too, which is insane. Like that was like those are the two biggest like fucking musicians that I've always fucking looked up to, and they were the nicest fucking people in the fucking planet. David Townsend talked to me for like 30 minutes, dude, which is fucking crazy.
I didn't. What?
Like
Really? What else was he doing? I don't know.
like
I was
exactly,
like,
exactly, right? What not what better things don't you have to fucking do? You know what I mean?
but that just means you were having a really, if you can't, okay, that's good because it's like, hey, maybe I can't get down with you here, but I can get down with you here. We're gonna have this connection right now, which means more. In fact, if you can connect like this with somebody before, that makes for a tighter relationship.
It does.
Me and Ryan from Legator, we like did this for a second before. We met at Joseph Stalin's booth and we just talked. We didn't care. It was just little side note. I've loved Legator since it came out. I always felt like it was a possibility for me because I knew they were a new company and they were my genre. And somewhere in my head, I always thought like, man, Legator is like a brand. And my first year, I did go by the booth. I kind of like lingered. I saw some playthroughs. I'm a believer, like if you kind of want to make your way into somewhere, that's kind of one, be around, be there.
You're out.
I was doing that with the Joey Sturgis booth. He had been teaching this. Joel Wanasek had been teaching, you need to be that guy who stands out of the crowd. And that's what I did. I went every day to majority of their panels. More than once I saw, their stuff. I was the guy in the front asking the questions. And I met Mel Torres, who is my really good friend now. We talk all the time. We do work behind the scenes more than people think we do. Together. And I met Ryan at that booth. He had Juicev was an artist at the time, and he had brought a Legator for Juice to play. And I was just, he mentioned to somebody Legator, and I was just like, oh, you guys have the Legator, I love your neon guitars. I freaking think they are the coolest thing ever. I've always been an 80s shred type of dude. Dude, me too. I freaking love them. That was my idea, blah, blah, blah. Or actually, I think this was right after he joined, but he loved them. And he's like, yeah, well, we're actually not selling them anymore. We're taking them all down. And I was like, what? Like, no, like, I love these guitars. You can't get rid of them. And he's like, well, if you want to get your hands on one, here's my card, maybe we can make something happen. And I lingered around the booth. We had some more conversations as the weekend went on. I kept in contact, and then a month later I decided to shoot my shot. And luckily Ryan saw something and he said, what string count and color do you want? And a couple months later, this was in my hands, and this was my start to Legator guitars. Was this guitar right here, which is just crazy. Can't believe it. My first endorsed guitar. Crazy, surreal. It's like you were in that bed. Like, how did I get to this point?
Yeah.
I went to NAMM.
I went to NAMM.
You
Yeah,
went to NAMM,
yeah,
you know? How did you get into that bed? You went to NAMM and
yeah,
then you were in that bed.
yeah. It's so crazy how those things kind of work out. But there's so many, we can get into it all fucking day talking about the 10 plus years we've been
Beauty.
grinding at it.
Yeah. Hopefully, if there's anything anybody takes from this video, it's the inspiration to seize your day, put in your work and your time, and go seek like-minded people, including going to NAMM, which would be seeking, like-minded people.
And it's just not only like that's one point of NAM too, but not only that, I think we should really focus on the like-minded people because we're from the exact same place, and we're not going to get into it, but more of like, how it is down here. You know how it is. It's
Yeah,
that RGB mentality, and
it can be very toxic.
and you know how those old guys were when we were growing up. And it was like ever since then, it was like, man, they just kind of always wanted to put us down, and like always wanted a like just not wanting to succeed. And I never understood that. And I think what I love about having these conversations with musicians our age is like, dude, we're so willing to give our craft and our knowledge out to these younger kids that want to expand. Like I was talking to Nick. Nick's 22. He's not that much younger than us, but like I still see him as a little kid. You know what I mean? And like Nick is killing it. And every time like I talk to Nick and I'm like, dude, you're fucking killing it. And I'm so happy for anything you do because you seem like you have such a like that fire that I once had. And I'm like, and I love being around people like you. And that's the one thing that I really do hope people get from this podcast was just that exactly so that inspiration and just that positivity that this knowledge is not just to be kept to you, it's to be shared to anybody that wants to listen. And
he's another person that's on my radar too. We did
Yeah.
some work together, and he is very talented and he does have a good fire going on. In fact, sometimes he inspires me. I'm sure he'll make his way to NAMM. And I've always been telling him and his band, Tony and Adrian, they need to go out to NAMM. Yeah. Tony works at Guitar Center. He's around music all day. They want this, you know what I mean? And I feel like they really need to go out there. They need to go out there and start talking to people. Tony is an amazing guitar player, and I'm sure he can land an endorsement his first year out there with probably a really nice brand, if not the brand he wants. But it just, that was one thing is you had mentioned, when you're playing guitar, everybody's playing and everybody wants to see that. They kind of want to see you show off for a second. And Gabe was always ready. We would go to a booth and he had his shit ready. And that got me like, I could do that, but I don't have something ready to show. Like I have this one, I always like Miles of Machines from Jeff Loomis was like, I was playing it constantly at the time. That's all I had.
Yeah.
But it just made me realize like, hey, I kind of have to have some tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
My back sleeve ready to go, and that helped me this past year. I had a couple of tricks up my sleeve, and it's the difference. They need, that opportunity. We always dream of that opportunity where somebody sees us and it gives us the opportunity. And, it's not going to be at a random bar, but it'll probably be at NAMM. I'll tell you that much. It'll probably be at NAMM, You probably will be, playing in front of Jeff Kiesel. And he's just like, this guy's amazing. Who do you play with? I don't even care, can you do social media and play my guitars? Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
It could happen like that. Not saying that it'll be like that for everybody, but being ready in that regard is also
the possibility is there.
It is.
That's the crazy thing about NAMM. It's just like the possibility is there because everybody's there. Everybody's there. Dude, you were warming up and Jeff Loomis just walked up right next to us.
Yeah.
That was
amazing.
That was the most insane shit like ever. Like you guys
gotta drop that meme.
Yeah, I gotta drop that meme. It's like
I forgot that we made a meme.
It's so fucking crazy. Like you guys were just literally warming up, and it's just like, oh shit. I literally looked to my left, and it's like, holy shit, Jeff Loomis is right fucking next to us.
Yeah, I'm here warming up for my demo, first time with Lavashia with Elias, and I'm warming up, trying to get some chops in. Gabe obviously comes to see us, and Legator is like a great spot. They have a great spot as like they're in the guitar area. They have a nice, decent size. So if you're just like in the guitar world and you're walking around, you're bound to see, what's going on. And lo and behold, Jeff Loomis walks through and he sees his good friend Gabriel Guardian because they're good friends. And so he stops to talk to Gabe, who's there for my booth. And I'm just like, what's going on right now? Jeff Loomis is right there. And I start playing Miles Machines like a bunch of times over and over, the only part I know, just to see if he'll notice. And then we do our bit, and Jeff Loomis is there while we're doing our bit. And it was just like, wow.
How was that a year ago, bro? Like,
Yeah.
so fucking like that's just like
It's just a little bit of a bummer to think that we should have already had a magical moment, because though NAMM is like what keeps you going
yeah,
year to year. When you've lost all your motivation for the year, because the year was a tough year, or it was just hard to get through, or super grindy, NAMM is there to lift you back up. There's no NAMM this year. So we have to find other ways to inspire each other and get back to the grind, because though NAMM is not here, work still needs to get done.
yep,
There's still things to do and still growth to happen.
definitely. And that's the main thing that's just kind of, you're right, you're completely right. Like, yeah, we should have had that next spark with that NAMM. um I've kind of lost it since we lost the tour, you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of like went off the radar for a little bit, more of like just kind of trying to see what the year was gonna happen. I lost the fucking that badass job I had with at STC that was gonna let me go on tour, and then we lost the tour, and I was like, oh, that sucks, man. Like, it
Yeah,
was just
we
like,
didn't completely lose it, but
but it was still
yeah,
like, it
we
was
lost
more of
it.
like that gut punch at the end, where it was just like, oh, okay, so we can't tour the rest of the year. We can't do that, because I knew like that was what I was gonna do, because I was gonna get off tour with Immortal, helping you guys out, and I wanted to do Lone Scar right after that. I wanted to fucking
Which
just,
would have been
it would have been like fucking, I was ready. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
You
just brought
spend
the record.
six, you spend 6, 7, 8 weeks on the road with the band who's doing the circuit of venues.
Exactly.
Like that's
Exactly.
the circuit.
Exactly.
Uh, and then you take that and you go to your band and you go, boom, this is, yeah, no, I could see that that that
Exactly.
that that definitely.
Exactly. Exactly. It was supposed to be exactly like that. It was supposed to be that jump where it was like I was gonna network my ass off all fucking month long with this badass band, and we're gonna fucking do amazing shit. And I was gonna take all the shit that I learned, was gonna apply it to this fucking badass band, and then so we can all just be badass. But that didn't happen. So I just kind of lost it for a little bit. But I feel ready. The podcast helped a lot. I think that's the main reason I really started. I like to say that's the main reason I started this, but it's just like the main reason I started this bitch was to fucking help myself fucking come back to be.
Yeah, if that, and that's what it takes, and that it's good because you're doing two things at once. You're
Yeah.
fueling yourself and
Yeah.
providing to the local scene. I'm sure people love to hear what goes on between some of our lives, um as we don't live normal lives as everybody else.
I know.
So hopefully everybody enjoys everything that everybody you interview has to offer. And what a great way, like you get to start with some great people.
I think so too. I always wanted you on the podcast. I didn't want you so soon on it, because I wanted to get better at it before we did. Because I knew our episode was gonna go more than an hour. I knew our episode was gonna go more than fucking. We could talk for fucking 4 hours if we wanted to, but we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
But it's more of like I wanted to get really good before I did yours, because it was like I wanted yours to be impressive, because it was gonna be like, you deserve it. You've been my best friend,
Thank you.
one of my best friends for forever, and you definitely do
Thank you,
deserve it.
man. Thank you.
And I'm super fucking proud of you, man. I really fucking am. And it's gonna be this. it's so weird to say that this ride's gonna be so, because it's unexpected, but I really am hopeful for anything and everything that does happen to you, because you do definitely deserve it. I've seen your ass grind so fucking much. We were there with no AC in the other shack in the other room that whole summer, man. And that was some insane shit. Just fucking grinding our asses off 7 a.m. to fucking 7 p.m.
We were
And
doing that stuff.
that's what taught me a better work ethic. And it was just like, I love it, man. And
It's different because, you know, like with normal people, you set out 1 day or 2 days of the week and it's somewhere in the afternoon and that's when you put your time in. But like when this is your job, this is what you do, and you take it as serious as you say you do, opportunity is there for the people who are willing to put good work.
very true. Very true. We've been going at this more than an hour.
Yeah, no, I figured.
What do you want to do? We should stop that right there. I feel like we got everything.
Yeah.
But what do you got to say, brother?
Psychocymatic coming out to you guys this Friday, February 12th. We've put our blood, sweat, and tears in it. It is the best album I have ever had the pleasure of working with and working on. Sonically, it's the best album I've ever produced. I have full confidence in this. It's amazing. I love the way it turned out, and I hope you guys sincerely enjoy the hardships that we endured to give you Psychocymatic.
That was a pleasure talking to you, as always, bro.
Pleasure talking to you, my friend.
Let's end it right here. I gotta go pee. So
Peace, dog.
cheers, dude. Love you.
Love you, BB.